So this is Boost Basics tutorial video number 1. Absolute basics to get up and running with the Boost Command Line Interface. So firstly, let's dive into what actually is Boost. So Boost is a command line tool that you run from your terminal. And what it does is it takes code that you've written on a local graphical based code editor and makes it so you could run it in the cloud on a single machine shared by your entire team. Because the machine is shared, all of your environment installs are set up and ready to go. So it essentially makes it so that all you do is write code. You open a code editor and go, ready to get moving on a pre-installed project. So that is the Boost command line interface. In order to get it, we go to the boost.io, follow the Get Boost button, and we create our free user account. So basic stuff here, username, email, passwords. When you get those input, the welcome page comes up, user accounts created for you, and you're instructed to install Boost CLI via the pip3 installation tool. So pip3 is the Python package manager. You don't need to run just Python through Boost, but we distribute Boost through the Python package index PyPy. Current version is 0.2.0. So if you're watching this in the future, keep in mind that likely this version is iterated, and I'll do my best to re-upload videos to make this content as up to date as possible. So yeah, going into our terminal, I'm here in a directory. I just called it coding, and I'm going to install Boost. Boost-CLI. If you don't already have Python 3 or pip3, make sure to install those on your machine first. Cool. So the package is installed. It's on my machine, ready to go. First command I could run is just Boost. So by running Boost, it gives me, I'll get this out of the way. Cool, make it pretty for you guys. So the printout is the help page. It's essentially the documentation. Every command that you're going to need to know through Boost is on this page. You can get it by typing straight up Boost or Boost -- help, as you're used to doing with command line interfaces. If you want to see a prettier version of the documentation, it's live at boost.io/CLI/documentation. What we're going to do first is a login. We're going to run the login command with Boost, a login. Input the username. This is an account I created earlier, and my password. So put in what you used to create your account on the previous page. So when we log in, it prompts us if we want to provide information to Boost about our usage in order to inform Boost on what is best to optimize Boost for. So I need to just say yes, help them out, and we opt in. So I'm going to run Boost list after I've logged in, and it tells me that I currently have no code boxes. Remember that code boxes are these remote environments here. So a code box, you could have multiple of them if you have a paid plan, but it's this remote machine that executes your code. And currently we have none. So we're going to do Boost new to create that code box. Into this, I give it a name. Let's call it tutorial 1 and a password. And it creates the code box. So the reason I set a password is so that in the future, if I do any custom configuration of the code box, I could give the ID of this machine as well as the password to my teammates so they could join in on the code box without having to repeat the same setup. Now that the code box is created, it downloads an access key onto my machine that's unique to the code box. Once I log out or once I leave this code box, I will no longer have that key. So that's how we distribute access credentials. I'm going to do boost list again and see that now I have a code box. It is currently running at an IP address here. The IP address changes every time you fire it up. There's the name. And importantly, here's a local ID. The local ID is the number that you use to refer to your code box when you're interacting with the CLI. So one command is info. If I were to type boost info, it would give me a list of the code boxes, and I would select one down here, one. And what boost info does is it gives me the information about the code box. Here's that ID that I mentioned earlier on how to invite other people into the code box with the command boost join if they wanted. Also, in order to prevent myself from having to input that ID every time like that, I could pass it in explicitly following the command, or better yet, and this is good practice, run boost default. Boost default allows you to set an ID so that every time in the future I run a boost command, it's going to reference that default. So now boost info, I never explicitly pass in the ID, it just gives me the information. So that's great. So we have a machine running. We've played a bit around with interacting with the CLI. Let's start actually writing code. So I am in a directory called coding. I'm going to make a tutorial directory and enter into it just for cleanliness. So to start a Boost project within a directory, just like Git, I type boost init. So boost init has done a very important thing right here. It's taken this directory, this tutorial directory, and mapped it to the file sync process. What Boost does is between your machine and the code box, there's a constant file sync, kind of like Dropbox, that works out of the directory that we just set. That's to make sure that the code that is executing remotely is live updated with what we're typing locally. So we just mapped that, and it's time to start making code files. Let's do a hello world in Python. So hello.py. We're going to make a blank hello.py file and open it up in a local code editor. So I'm using VS Code in this case. Sweet. So here is our hello.py. You'll also know in the directory when we ran boost init, it creates a bulk and a boost ignore file. Don't worry about that for now. We'll talk about that in a future tutorial. So hello.py, hello world, is done with a print statement, print quotations, hello world, exclamation point. Cool. I'm going to save that here and go back over into the terminal, type ls. You'll see that we've created the hello.py. Now, if I wanted to run it locally on my own machine, the command would be python3 hello.py, the interpreter followed by the target file. And it executes it because I have Python3 already on my local machine. But what if I ran it in the code box in the remote machine? All I do is type the word boost beforehand, and then the same exact command. Boost python3 hello.py. What starts up first is that file sync process I talked about before. It pipes hello.py up to remote and then runs it. There's our hello world. So the cool thing now is file sync is running. For the next 4 hours, my machine will keep that as a daemon process. So next time I run this one line command, boost followed by a shell command, it takes that shell command, sends it remote, and that's all you see. And we can make edits live. So if I wanted to print hello world 10 times, I'll just do over a range of 10, and I'm saving it now, saving locally. I go back into here and run it remotely, and boom, the updates are already up in the code box, and the execution happened there. Now, say I was running a bit more obscure of a setup, Go, for example, Golang. If I was to type and run code through Go on my own machine, it wouldn't work because I don't have Go here. But if someone set up the remote code box with Go, I'd be able to execute the code there. So essentially what Boost is doing is it's turning my own device into nothing but a text editor, plus the Boost CLI. So that's pretty cool. And we're not just restricted to Python files. Let's create a hello world in Bash. So hello.sh. Again, in the file sync directory. We're going to start with the shebang, bin/bash. And then the echo command is how we echo or print out a statement. Hello world from bash. Yay. Okay, let me save it. So save the file locally. As you know, ls prints out my local directory. I could run the same thing through Boost actually, Boost ls, and that prints the remote directory. Awfully neat. So lastly, we are going to run the file. For shell scripts, I execute it like this, .dat/hello.sh, and it runs hello world from bash. As you'd expect, same exact thing for running it in the code box by using the word boost beforehand. There you go. Instant execution of your code remotely. It's still editable. We could always come back here in our local text editor and type hello from bash, save it, and trust that those edits will make it to the remote system. This wraps up our tutorial number 1. Thanks for sticking around with me. This was fun. I'm excited to show you tutorial number 2, in which we host a static site for the first time on Boost. Catch you later.